How will we use Sims?
How would I use him? Let me start with that. How would I use
Yeah.
him? I would, at this point, we've seen our offense, like I said, actually operate. Finally, we have a sample size of how they operated because Heinrich Harburg was in the game. Now, was he a superstar rent-a-car 100%? Like, that's the guy? Arguable, but the other guy fumbled so many times, it's hard to give an actual objective comparison. And I think sort of maybe that's even where the coaches are with it. So
In one game, yeah.
yeah,
You got a
so
very good sample size the first
looking
game.
sure, and to me, based on his career,
Yeah.
the sample size is there. That's to me though, and it's not my job writing on it. So, but if it were me, Sims would be like what Heinrich was game one. You know, he would be that Janarian Bonner H back sort of role where he's going to get the ball, flat route. He's going to get the ball in third down situations sometimes. So that's how I would use him. How do I think they're going to use him? I think he's going to start this week. I hope, like, look, I'm rooting for him to do well. I am. I'm rooting for him to do well because if he can get it figured out, like all of a sudden we have a quarterback room where we have two prototypical quarterbacks that fit into what they're trying to do with this offense. And that's a good problem to have regardless. So if Sims can show a little bit of productivity, I mean, that's great. But I just think he's a quarterback. They will continue to use him as a quarterback unless he just like totally has continuance of what the problems have already been, and then they'll think about what I'm talking about. But
Yeah, you touched on what my mindset. People are like, "Oh, you don't have a good sample size. It was 2 away game." Those aren't his first 2 starting games as a starting quarterback in Division One football. Okay, so you know what he does, and something I've been seeing on just I should stop reading, but the like Nebraska message boards and all this stuff, and I just like, guys, they're talking about like, well, he has a better arm and he throws the ball better than Harburg. And I'm like, where are you seeing this? Where are you seeing this? He throws it to the other team better. From what I've seen, he can't read a defense. He stares down the receiver that he's going to throw to, and he thinks that he can make a throw that he sometimes can't. He doesn't play the QB position smart from what I've seen. Now he is a freak talent, like physical specimen, so he needs to be on the field. He does, and I'm not opposed to having him be, especially letting Harburg be back there just in general, and having the passes, having the runs, and things like that. But maybe having Sims be more of like the power runner when they are in there, kind of how they used to use Wildcat.
I don't want him taking snaps anymore. I'm still
I know
there.
you don't.
I'm still there with it. Let me put it this way. I'd rather have Uncle Rico.
Dude.
I'd rather have Uncle Rico in the game to throw bombs for us than Jeff
Over those
Sims.
mountains.
Over those mountains.
No, I completely understand that. And again, it's not our decision.
No.
So
it's not.
How I would like as a fan that knows a little bit about football and doesn't want the same things to happen over and over and over again the past couple of years, sticking with some people that you probably shouldn't when they keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, not just in the quarterback position, all over the field. I don't want that either, but I think you're right. I think he's going to be the starter, and I hope that he gets it figured out and he completely proves us all wrong, because you're right. If that happens, then we have two options to really like help this team thrive.
No, I'm rooting
and for the first time in a while, if that's the case, for the first time in a while, we will have a true two deep that if the starter goes down, the fans are holding their breath the entire time.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. And it's interesting too, because it seems like in a lot of situations, an offense has two superstar quarterbacks, or a team has two superstar quarterbacks, but they're different styles. Like you might have one that's like, oh, he's a pocket guy, but he's like as good as Joe Burrow, so we're going to build our offense around him. But if this other guy comes in, he's Jalen Milroe, he's a runner, and now we have to sort of alter our offense a little bit. That's sort of been the case in a lot of places. I mean, look at Alabama right now. Not that their quarterbacks are superstars, but they're very different quarterbacks. And at Nebraska, it's sort of been that case in a lot of places too. I remember Taylor Martinez, whenever his backups would come in back in the day, it was like, okay, offense is different now. But but what I'm trying to say is that's one of the positives of this particular situation is their skill sets are largely similar. I mean, if Jeff Sims at full blast, full capacity, if you just take all of his highlights and say that's him, then I mean his strengths are about what Heinrich Harburg's strengths are: intermediate passing game, short passing game. He has a strong arm, but it's just a matter of whether he hits the guy or not, and he's an incredible runner. So yeah, like I said, it's just good to have two guys that are very prototypically similar in that role, because if either of them come out, you don't have to change a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
And by all accounts, Chuba, if he had to come into the game at any point as well, I mean, he's a decent runner as well. So
Even last year, his strength was tucking the ball and running.
Yes.
It was not passing the ball.
No, no.
So, yeah.
I would say he's, based on what we've seen, I would say Chuba's the weakest runner in that room. Not that he's a weak runner, but I would say he's probably the weakest runner of those three, the top three quarterbacks in that room.
From what we've
Heinrich,
seen, yeah.
to me, I mean, Jefferson's is an elite athlete. So when he runs the ball, it's obvious that this dude's an elite athlete. He's got good vision. He falls forward, so even when he's getting tackled, he's getting 2 or 3 more yards out of it. But man, I was just really impressed with Heinrich's efficiency of running. Really impressed.
He has a little bit more shiftiness to him.
Heinrich, you think? Yeah.
Heinrich. I think
Yeah.
straight on, I think Jeff is probably the better runner and can outrun
Right.
more people. But I think Harburg has a little bit more shiftiness.
Right.
Because if you look and notice the type of runs that Sims has, he really straight on. If it's a slide, if it's not, but it's really straight
Going
on.
towards
He's not
the edge
making.
and
He's not
outrunning the edge guy.
He's not making
Yeah.
people miss.
Mhm.
Harburg made a couple guys miss.
Yeah.
Last game. So,
Well, he
but I
definitely
just-
ran over some dudes as well.
He
I'll give him that.
absolutely,
Yeah, he did.
absolutely, absolutely.